Section 2. Universal Prime Energy, Give and Take Action, and the Four-Position Foundation. 2.1. Universal Prime Energy. God, the creator of all things, is the absolute reality, eternal, self-existent, and transcendent of time and space. The fundamental energy of God's being is also eternal, self-existent, and absolute. The origin of all energies and forces that allow created beings to exist. We call this fundamental energy Universal Prime Energy. 2.2. Give and Take Action. Through the agency of Universal Prime Energy, the subject and object elements of every entity form a common base and enter into interaction. This interaction in turn generates all the forces the entity needs for existence, multiplication, and action. The interaction generating these forces through this process is called give and take action. Universal Prime Energy and the forces generated by give and take action are in a reciprocal relationship of cause and result, internal and external, and subject partner and object partner. Universal Prime Energy is a vertical force, while the forces generated by give and take action are horizontal forces. Let us examine in detail God and His creation in terms of Universal Prime Energy and give and take action. God's Universal Prime Energies directs His eternal dual characteristics to form a common base for the mutual relationship. They then engage in give and take action. Based on the forces generated by this give and take action, the dual characteristics construct a foundation for the eternal reciprocation. This is the foundation for God's existence, upon which God eternally exists and generates all forces needed to create and sustain the universe. In the created universe, the dual characteristics that make up each beings are empowered by Universal Prime Energy to establish a common base. They then engage in give and take action. Based on the forces generated by this give and take action, the dual characteristics construct a foundation for the continued reciprocation. This becomes the foundation for the existence of each individual being, upon which the being becomes an object partner to God and is able to generate all forces necessary for its continued existence. For example, atoms come into existence when electrons assemble about a nucleus and engage in electromagnetic interaction, which is a type of give and take action. When positive ions and negative ions perform give and take action, they form molecules and produce chemical reactions. Give and take action between positive and negative electrical charges underlies all electrical phenomena. Circulation of nutrients between xylem and phloem is one of the give and take actions in plants that sustain their life functions and promote their growth. The give and take action between stamen and pistil is the dominant means for the reproduction of plant life. Animals multiply and maintain their species through the give and take action between male and female. Give and take actions as the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide and the cooperation between bees and flowers. With respect to the heavenly bodies, the solar system exists based on the give and take action between the sun and the planets. Their various movements give structure to the universe. The Earth and the Moon also maintain their rotations and their revolution in a set orbit through their give and take action. The human body maintains its life through the give and take actions between arteries and veins, inhalation and exhalation, sympathetic and parasympathetic nerves, and so forth. The give and take action between mind and body enables an individual to carry out activities which further the purpose of life. The give and take actions between husband and wife in a family, among people in a society, between the government and citizens in a nation, and among the nations of the world are essential for them to live together in harmony and peace. However evil a person may be, the force of his conscience, which impels him towards a virtuous life, is always active within his inner self. This is true for all people of all ages and places. No one can quell the force of conscience, which is powerfully at work even without one's conscious awareness. The minute a person commits an evil act, he immediately feels pangs of conscience. If the function of the conscience were absent in fallen people, God's providence of restoration would be impossible. How is this force of conscience generated? Since all forces are produced by give and take action, the conscience cannot generate the force needed for its operation all by itself. That is to say, the conscience can operate only when it forms a common base with some subject partner and engages in give and take action with it. The ultimate subject partner of our conscience is God. The human fall, in essence, severed our relationship with God. Rather than attaining oneness with God, our ancestors joined in a reciprocal relationship with Satan. thereby becoming one with him. Jesus was the only begotten Son of God. He attained oneness with God through perfect give and take action. When we unite with Jesus in a perfect reciprocal relationship, we can recover our original God-given nature. We can cultivate a give and take relationship with God and become one with him. This is how Jesus serves as the mediator for fallen people. He is our way, truth, and life. Jesus came with love and sacrifice to give all that he had to humankind, even offering his life. If we turn to him in faith, we will not perish but have eternal life. Christianity is a religion of love. It strives through love and sacrifice to open the path to restore the horizontal relationships of give and take between people in the love of Christ. On this horizontal foundation of love, the way is open to restore our vertical relationship of give and take with God. Truth, this was the main purpose of all the teachings and deeds of Jesus. For example, Jesus said, "Judge not, that you be not judged. For with the judgment you pronounce, you will be judged, and the measure you give will be the measure you get." 7:1-2. So whatever you wish that men would do to you, do so to them, for this is the law and the prophets. Matt 7:12. So everyone who acknowledges me before men, I will also acknowledge before my Father who is in heaven. Matt 10:32. He who receives a prophet because he is a prophet shall receive a prophet's reward, and he who receives a righteous man because he is a righteous man shall receive a righteous man's reward. Matt 10:41. And whoever gives to one of these little ones even a cup of cold water because he is a disciple, truly, I say to you, he shall not lose his reward. Matt 10:42. 2.3. The four-position foundation, which realizes the three-object purpose through origin, division, union, action. 2.3.1. Origin, division, union, action. The process of God's creation begins when the dual characteristics within God form a common base through the prompting of his universal prime energy. As they engage in give and take action, they generate a force which engenders multiplication. This force projects the dual characteristics into discrete substantial object partners, each relating to God as its center. These object partners to God then assume the position of subject partner and object partner to each other as they are prompted by the universal prime energy to form a common base and engage in give and take action. They then join together in one harmonious union to form a new object partner to God. This whole process, in which out of God, the origin, two entities are separately manifested and reunited in oneness, is called origin, division, union, action. 2.3.2. The three-object purpose. As a result of origin, division, union, action, four positions are formed. The origin at the center, the subject partner, and the object partner, distinct substantial object partners to the origin in the pattern of its dual characteristics, and their union. Any one of the four positions may assume the position of subject partner and engage the other three as its object partners, forming a communion of three object partners. When each of the four then acts as the subject partner and enters into give and take with the other three revolving around it, they fulfill the three object purpose. 2.3.3. The four-position foundation. When through origin, division, union action, the origin, the subject partner, and object partner projected from the origin and their union all fulfill the three object purpose, the four-position foundation is established. The four-position foundation is the root of the number 4. It is also the root of the number 3 because it is the fulfillment of the three object purpose. The four-position foundation is realized by God, husband and wife, and children. They complete the three stages of origin, division, union, action. Hence, the four-position foundation is the root of the principle of three stages. Furthermore, each of the four positions in the four-position foundation takes on three object partners in fulfilling the three object purpose. In total, there are 12 object partners. Hence, it is the root of the number 12. The four-position foundation is the fundamental foundation of goodness. It is the realization of God's purpose of creation. It is the fundamental foundation for the life of all beings, providing all the forces necessary for their existence and enabling God to abide in them. Therefore, the four-position foundation is God's eternal purpose of creation. 2.3.4 The mode of existence of the four-position foundation. All beings which have completed the four-position foundation by fulfilling the three-object purpose through origin, division, union action move in circular, elliptical, or spherical paths. As a result, they exist in three dimensions. Let us now investigate the reason for this. Through origin, division, union action, the dual characteristics of God are projected to form two distinct and substantial object partners, which interact with each other as subject partner and object partner. The object partner responds to the subject partner to form a common base and begins give and take action around the subject partner. As they are held in balance by the force of giving, centrifugal, and the force of receiving, centripetal, the object partner revolves around the subject partner in a circular motion, and thus they become harmonious and unified. In the same manner, the subject partner becomes an object partner to God, revolving around God, and then attaining oneness with Him. When the object partner becomes completely one with its subject partner, their union can stand before God as a new object partner resembling His dual characteristics. Moreover, the way for any object partner to stand as an object partner before God is by making oneness with its subject partner. In this union of subject partner and object partner, the subject partner and object partner are themselves composed of dual characteristics. These, by the same principle of give and take action, carry on their circular motions. Thus, we see circular motions of give and take action within both the subject partner and object partner, which are simultaneously engaged in the greater circular motion within their union. Although there are moments when the two levels of circular motion among subject partners and object partners may happen to have orbits on the same plane, in general, because the angle of revolution around the subject partner is constantly changing, this circular movement becomes a spherical movement. In short, all beings which have completed the four-position foundation carry on circular and spherical movement, and hence their mode of existence always becomes three-dimensional. Let us take the solar system as an example. The planets, standing as an object partners to the Sun, each form a common base and engage in give and take action with the Sun through centripetal and centrifugal forces. Revolving around the Sun in elliptical orbits, the Sun and planets attain harmony and oneness and form the solar system. At the same time, the planet Earth, as a composite body of dual characteristics, rotates on its own axis. This is also true of the Sun and the rest of the planets. They are in continuous rotation on their own axis, because they too are composite bodies of dual characteristics. The orbit caused by give and take action in the solar system do not occupy exactly the same plane. Rather, due to the varied angles of their orbits and rotations, the solar system exhibits spherical motion in three dimensions. Likewise, all heavenly bodies exist in three dimensions by virtue of their circular and spherical movements. When the countless heavenly bodies carry on give and take action with each other, they form one body, and thereby give structure to the universe. The universe exists in three dimensions as governed by the same principle. Its elements engage in spherical movements. When an electron forms a common base with a proton and engages in give and take action, it revolves around the proton in a circular motion. Thus, they unite and form an atom, hydrogen. The electron and proton are themselves composed of dual characteristics that cause them to spin in continuous rotation. Therefore, the circular motion arising from the give and take action between the proton and electron is not limited to an orbit on one plane, but by continuously altering its angle of revolution creates a spherical movement. Through spherical movement, the atom thus exists in three dimensions. By the same token, the magnetic force between positive and negative poles causes electrically charged particles to precess in spherical movement. Let us consider the example of human beings. As the object partner to the mind, the body establishes a common base with the mind and engages in give and take action with it. Figuratively speaking, the body then revolves around the mind and attains complete oneness with it. If and when the mind stands as an object partner before God and revolves around Him, resonating in oneness with Him, and when the body becomes one with this mind, the individual will resemble God's dual characteristics and thus stand as God's embodied object partner. Thereupon, the person fulfills the purpose of creation. The mind and body are also each composed of dual characteristics, so they carry on continuous movement within themselves. Thus, the circular movement produced through the give and take dynamic between mind and body ceaselessly alters the angle of revolution around God and becomes spherical. People who have realized the purpose of creation exist as three-dimensional beings who always lead their lives in spherical relationship centered on God. This is how they can attain mastery even over the incorporeal world. When the circular movement of the subject partner and the object partner on a single plane becomes a spherical movement in a three-dimensional orbit, the dynamism and creativity of the universe unfold. Variations in each orbit's distance, shape, state, direction, angle, force, and velocity are manifest as the beauty of creation in its infinite variety. Just as all beings have internal nature and external form, there is a type of spherical motion that corresponds to an internal nature and a type corresponds to external form. Likewise, there is a center of motion that corresponds to internal nature and a center that corresponds to external form. These two centers have the same relationship as that between internal nature and external form. What is the ultimate center of all these spherical movements? Human beings are the center of all created things, which are embodied object partners to God's dual characteristics in symbol. God is the center of human beings who are created as His embodied object partners in image. Consequently, the ultimate center of all spherical movements in the universe is God. Let's consider this further. Every object partner to God contains a subject partner and an object partner within itself. The center of the relationship is a subject partner, so the center of the union between subject partner and object partner is also the subject partner. Since God is the center of the subject partner, He is also the ultimate center of the union. As discussed above, the three substantial object partners to God, subject partner, object partner union, also form common bases with each other. As each of the three takes the central position and becomes one with the others through give and take action with God as their ultimate center, they fulfill the three object purpose and establish the four-position foundation. Accordingly, the ultimate center of the four-position foundation is God. All things that have established four-position foundations in this manner are individual embodiments of truth. As mentioned before, individual embodiments of truth are divided broadly into individual embodiments of truth in image, human beings, and individual embodiments of truth in symbol, the rest of the creation. The universe is composed of countless individual embodiments of truth mutually related to each other in good order, from those of the lowest level to those of the highest level. Among them all, human beings occupy the highest level. Individual embodiments of truth revolve spherically around each other, with those of a lower level acting as object partners to those of a higher level. Thus, the center of any spherical movement is an individual embodiment of truth of a higher level which acts as the subject partner. The centers of the countless symbolic individual embodiments of truth are interconnected from the lowest to the highest. The highest centers are human beings who are individual embodiments of truth in image. Let us examine the centrality of human beings. Science holds that elementary particles are the most basic building blocks of matter and explains that they are composed of energy. Considering the purpose of existence of the individual embodiments of truth that make up material universe at different levels, we can surmise. Energy exists in order to form particles. Particles exist to form atoms. Atoms to form molecules. Molecules to form matter. And matter exists for the creation of all the individual entities in the universe. Likewise, the activity of energy is for the purpose of forming particles. The activity of particles is for atoms. The activity of atoms is for molecules. The activity of molecules is for matter. And the activity of matter is for the purpose of constructing the universe. What is the purpose of the universe? What is its center? The answer to both these questions is none other than human beings. This is why God, after creating human beings, commanded them to have dominion over the universe. If there were no people to appreciate the universe, then it could be likened to a museum without any visitors. The articles on display in a museum attain their true value and are cherished as historical relics only when there are people who appreciate, love, and take delight in them. Their relationship with human beings gives value to their existence. If there were no one to appreciate them, then what meaning would their existence have? The same holds true for the universe, whose lords are human beings. The diverse things in creation enter into mutual relationships with a common purpose when human beings discover the source and nature of matter, and when they identify and classify plants and animals of the land, water, and air, and all the stars in the sky. Their common purpose is realized when they are assimilated into the human body as elements essential for people to maintain their physiological functions, and when they participate in the construction of a comfortable living environment for people. In these and other ways, human beings stand as a center of the created universe in terms of its external form. In addition, people relate to the universe from their position as an internal center. When the relationships discussed above are physical relationships, here we consider mental or spiritual relationships. The human body, though consisting of matter, fully responds physiologically to the emotion, intellect, and will of the human mind. This demonstrates that matter has within itself elements which resonate with emotion, intellect, and will, elements which constitute the internal nature of matter. This is the reason all things in the universe respond to human emotion, intellect, and will, albeit to different degrees. We become intoxicated with the beauty of the natural world and experience the rapture of mystical union. We experience this because we are the center of the internal natures of all things in the natural world. Human beings are thus created as a center of the universe and the place where God and human beings become completely one in the center of the cosmos. Let us discuss from another viewpoint how human beings are the center of the cosmos, which is composed of both the spirit world and the physical world. Every human being embodies all the elements in the cosmos, yet, as we discussed earlier, everything in the cosmos can be divided broadly into subject partners and object partners. Had Adam, the first human ancestor, reached perfection, he would have embodied all the subject elements in the things of creation. Had Eve attained perfection, she would have embodied all the object elements in the things of creation. God created Adam and Eve to have dominion over the natural world, growing together towards perfection. Adam was to become the king of all the subject elements in creation, and Eve was to become the queen of all the object elements. If they had then become one as husband and wife, they would have become the center that would rule the entire universe, consisting of subject partners and object partners. Human beings are created to be the center of harmony of the whole cosmos. If Adam and Eve had attained perfection and united as husband and wife, it would have meant the joining into oneness of the two centers of the dual characteristics of all beings. Had Adam and Eve moved together in harmony and attained oneness, the whole cosmos with its dual characteristics would have danced in harmony. The place where Adam and Eve become perfectly one in heart and body as husband and wife is also the place where God, the subject partner giving love, and human beings, the object partners returning beauty, become united. This is the center of goodness where the purpose of creation is fulfilled. Here, God, our parent, draws near and abides within his perfected children and rests peacefully for eternity. This center of goodness is the object partner to God's eternal love. God can be simulated with joy for eternity. This is the place where the Word of God is incarnated and brought to fulfillment. It is the center of truth and the center of the original mind which guides us to pursue the purpose of creation. Consequently, the entire universe will perform a spherical movement with a unified purpose when it is founded on the four-position foundation established by a perfected man and woman who join as husband and wife centered on God. Tragically, the universe lost its center when human beings fell. This is why St. Paul wrote that the creation has been groaning in travail while longing for the children of God. Creation awaits the people who have restored their original nature, appear and become its center. 2.4. The Omnipresence of God. We have learned that the four-position foundation, built upon the three-object purpose through the origin, division, union action, proceeds in spherical movement around God and becomes one with God. This is the fundamental foundation for all beings to receive God's governance and be provided with all the powers necessary for life. In a world where God's purpose of creation has been fulfilled, and all individual beings embody God's original internal nature and original external form, and initiate spherical movements to build the foundation for God's governance. God is thus omnipresent. 2.5. The multiplication of life. For living things to propagate their kind, they must reproduce. And this multiplication takes place through origin, division, union action, which is built upon good interactions. For example, in plants, seeds develop into flowers with stamens and pistils. Through pollination, they produce their seed and propagate their kind. Male and female animals mature, engage in courtship, mate, and bear offsprings. All cells in animals and plants divide through give and take action. When the body acts according to the will of the mind, and the mind and body thus engage in give and take action, the individual will live a purposeful life. This individual will then attract like-minded people. As these companions work together productively, their group will grow. It may be said that the universe is formed by the multiplication of myriad substantial manifestations of God's original internal nature and original external form through their give and take action in the pursuit of the purpose of creation. 2.6. The reason all beings are composed of dual characteristics. For any being to exist, energy is required, and energy can be produced only through give and take action. However, nothing can reciprocate without a partner. To generate the forces necessary for existence, a being must contain dual characteristics, a subject partner and an object partner which can engage in give and take action. A movement in a straight line cannot be sustained forever. For anything to have an external nature, it must move in a circle. Give and take action between a subject partner and an object partner is necessary for any circular motion. This is true even for God. Having dual characteristics allows Him to live eternally. In order for God's creation to resemble His eternal nature and be His eternal object partner, it likewise must be composed of dual characteristics. Similarly, time maintains its perpetuity through its periodic cycles.